Hi, Neil again. I'm on a survey this morning in South Shields, which is just east of Newcastle, Washington. So anyway, I just thought it's worth having a quick little video. Obviously, I've been asked to do, the client is buying the house, or has bought the house, sorry, but now he wants to remortgage. He bought it cash in an auction. And he's been instructed by the lenders that they require a damp and timber survey. So he's had a survey done. And in the survey it was stated that there was no evidence of an original damp-proof course. So they've asked for the surveyor actually recommended further investigation. So anyway, that's the reason I'm here this morning. And as part of the survey, obviously I've done the ground floor level being round. Externally, no evidence of a damp-proof course. Obviously it's been repointed. So, and where the damp-proof course might have been visible, it isn't now. So what I've done is I've came down into the subfloor void. It's around about 750 mil, and from here I can actually get access throughout the subfloor void to inspect the timbers, which, to be fair, are in very good condition. But it was stated in the report, and I'm not having to go at the surveyor, that it was unlikely that the property did benefit from a physical damp-proof course. Now the property is 110 years old. And obviously, as we all know, or should know, that damp-proof courses were part of the building regulations by that point. So what I always do whenever I do a survey, I'll come down into the subfloor, or if I can't, I'll do a torch and mirror inspection. And anyway, it came down. So what we've got is, you can see the depth, and you can see at this point here, there you are, well, 2 course of brick below the actual joists. There you are, put in perspective. You've got your bitumen felt damp-proof course. Now, what's interesting is that if you look, I'll get this into focus, that if you look at the brickwork below the damp-proof course, you can see these pockets of salt, dotted around, a bit of efflorescent salt. But then you come up to the damp-proof course and look at the difference in the brickwork, the change in colour. It's totally different. Again, there's these pockets of salt, which will be ground salts, nitrates and chlorides, as the moisture migrates up the wall. Now I know that's quite a contentious issue, because there are people who say there's no such thing as rising damp, but really this kind of dispels that myth. Can water rise through masonry? Well, externally the ground level is actually around about 600 mil below the floor level. So we're above external ground level at this point. But you can clearly see, that moisture has been migrating up these walls. As I say, typically, salts that you would find, nitrates, chlorides, there's others, but it's irrelevant really at this point. But there's your damp-proof course. But the difference in colour. Now, this is purely my experience, and I'm not saying everybody has had the same experience. But what I've typically found is that in properties from 1900 onwards, I can almost certainly find evidence of a damp-proof course. I can certainly find the damp-proof course. There's a cobweb blown in front of the camera there. So, and from 1925 onwards, I'm yet to look at a property where I couldn't find the original damp-proof course. It sometimes takes a little bit of work. You've got to pop a board up and or get underneath, but it's amazing how many times you will find it. So there you are. One of the things I did note, that is the aperture for the vent. There's an air brick on the outside, a 9x3 air brick, and as you can see, it's been choked over the years. Rubble has gotten in there. Once you open it up, just to clear it out, you can see the movement on the cobwebs. So I will be recommending to the client that obviously where the air bricks have been installed, that they probably pop the air bricks out and just make sure that they channel through the wall, and obviously they've got the sufficient ventilation. But I just thought it was an interesting one, because, as I said, it's easy to assume a property this age hasn't got a damp-proof course, and I've been around the whole subfloor void. It's quite a large property. And it's clear as daylight, 2 course of brick below the joists, But the big differences, which I think is interesting, is the change in colour in the brickwork. Obviously, we've got the damp masonry below the DPC level. Yeah. And then you've got this much drier, actually very dry brickwork directly above the damp-proof course, which goes to show that the damp-proof course does serve a purpose. I know people say that we don't need damp-proof courses in buildings. I wouldn't like to build my house without a damp-proof course, that's for sure. So I thought it might be useful. It's just one of these things. If you are doing a survey and you want to identify the damp-proof course, it's always worth, if possible, if you can get under the floor, get underneath, or if not, pop a floorboard up, use a torch and mirror, and it's amazing how many times you will find the damp-proof course, which just confirms the big thing that it does. If you're getting elevated readings above floor level, it'll just confirm, or to give you an accurate diagnosis that the cause probably isn't rising damp, and then you can look at other causes of damp. Okay, I hope this is helpful, and now with my rickety old bones I shall try and get out of this subfloor void. Have a great day. Bye now.